Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for January 2nd. We're looking at the U.S.-Japanese yen pair. I'm expecting this pair to move as high as 90.36 and as low as 86.93. Now look for some resistance to come along around 89.19. Look for support around 88.47. Now switching over to the Euro USD, well first, this pair of course moved lower, closed lower, did create an inside bar, which we'll get to in a minute. I do believe the movement is sideways though, biased definitely to the downside. Switching to the Euro USD, this particular pair closed up, forming or down, closing an inside bar. I am looking for this pair to move as high as 132.13 and as low as 127.68. Look for some resistance around 1.3118. Look for support around 2900 in this pair. I believe this pair is starting to move sideways, but the bias is definitely still to the downside. Now looking at the pound USD, this particular pair closed down as well, did form an inside bar also. I am expecting this pair to move as high as 141.80 and as low as 134.80. Look for some resistance to come in around 140.24 and look for support at 138.57. Now switching over to the US Swiss. There we go. This particular pair closed down for the session, just barely down. Did form an inside bar also. I am expecting this pair to move as high as 1.1695 and looking for this pair to move as low as 114.06. Definitely look for some resistance to kick in around 11600 and look for support around 114.62. Okay, now we got that out of the way, let me show you kind of what I'm looking for during this next session here. Okay, switching over to the, well, we can start with this pair. Let me back out a little bit, and this will kind of let you know what I'm thinking. We did form an inside bar, and typically what happens with inside bars is there are breakouts, and that's what we're looking for during this next session. I'm taking the top of the previous bar right there. I didn't get that dead on. Basically looking for it to come back up to this line, this low, this session's low, to form some resistance that used to be support. So basically what I'm looking for there is, for that trade I'm looking to buy at 1.1615, looking for an exit of 117.37. Just use, that's by the way 121 pips or 22 pips. Just use that 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio and you'll get the stop loss. Now to the downside of this particular trade, I'm looking to exit or to enter the trade this session's low and looking to take out essentially the lows here. What that looks like is selling at 113.79, exiting at 112.82 with a profit in the middle of 97 pips. Use a risk to reward ratio of 1-to-1 for that pair. Now taking a look at the pound, don't know if this is gonna occur or not. I kind of hope not, because I got some gap trades going the other way, but looking for a break above this point, this session's high, and basically looking for it to take out the trend line if you draw from the lows here, and of course that's not exact, but basically looking for a buy at 140.28, and then I'm looking to exit this trade at 142.60, and this allows for a 232 pip profit between the two. Not looking for a short in this particular pair, although it very well could do that. The breakout from an inside bar has just too far to go for us to take that short. Now looking at the Euro USD pair, looking for a short in this pair at 128.20 and looking to exit that particular trade at 127.20 for a 100 pip move. And that move, if this moves to the downside, kind of hedging there. If you caught that, we're looking to buy on the pound, looking to sell on the euro. Most likely, those two pairs will go in the same direction for the most part. And if the U.S. dollar pushes the euro one way or another, or the euro and the pound push the dollar one way or another, we should be able to pull a trade out of that. So that's kind of the thought behind that one. Now looking at the yen versus the U.S. dollar versus the yen, looking for a buy at this point at 90.20 up to exiting at 90.60. Not super excited about this particular breakout trade, to be honest with you, but we could definitely see it happen. Now to the downside, if we get a break here of this low, which if you draw your trend line should be in line. That's real pretty, I realize, but it should be in line with this low. If we get a break there, we should see it cruise on down. There's pretty much nothing to stop it from heading south for a good long ways there if it moves down. So what I'm doing is looking to enter the market and sell short at 87.98, looking to exit that trade at 87.15, and that would generate a profit of 83 pips for that particular trade. So that's kind of what I'm looking for as far as the charts go. Now looking back, we had the Canadian dollar releasing their retail sales. It was pretty much as expected. But looking ahead towards the new session, the pound is releasing their GDP report for the fourth quarter of 2008. Consensus is that the GDP has dropped from negative 0.6% down to negative 1.2%. Year to date, they're showing a drop from negative 0.3% down to negative 1.4%, which is not good, obviously, if the GDP has dropped that much year to date. If it comes out worse than that, you can expect the pound to lose some ground against the dollar. That is being released at 4:30 a.m. Now, the pound also has their retail sales for December being released. Consensus is that it has dropped from 0.3% down to negative 0.7%. Year to date, they're saying that they're expecting it to stay the same, which is kind of surprising to me, at 1.5%. That is also being released at 4:30 a.m. So if we see the numbers come in lower on both those, we should definitely see the pound give back some ground. The rhyme was not intended on that one. But the Canadian dollar has their CPI report being released for December. Consensus is that it has dropped from negative 0.3% down to negative 0.6%. Year to date, they're showing a drop from 2% down to 1.3%, and that's being released at 7 a.m. Even though they have a drop there, it's not into negative territory, which is really good for the Canadian dollar overall. Well, that about does it for today. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.